All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video, another WNBA regular season video. In this video, we are going to be talking about one of the expansion teams coming in 2028. They had their whole identity, brand, organizational, and even name unveiling the other day. I want to talk about it a little bit. So if you like what I say, like the video. If you have any opinions, comment down below. And if you just like the vibes, consider subscribing. So we're going to go through the main logo. They also have some other logos that they've been unveiling, continuing to unveil or show over the course of the last couple of days. I don't have those in front of you guys, but these are the main ones that I think they're going to be using specifically, like on the jerseys, maybe on the shorts, and maybe on some of the warm-ups as well. So let's jump into the left side of your screen first here. Obviously, they're going to be called the Cleveland Sirens. I think that's a great name. A lot of people were hoping that maybe the Cleveland Rockers would make a reappearance. It appears as if the WNBA has lost a lot of the copyright for those older teams that were defunct and had the potential to come back. I don't think they hold the rights to those anymore, so they had to kind of pivot into a different direction. And I will say, I'm not big into the Cleveland Rockers history. That was a little bit before my time, before I started watching the WNBA. Um, I Even the jerseys that they wore, the logo, it was very like early 2000s, and you could have updated it, you could have made it look presentable in the modern sense, but I think going for something completely different is exactly what the WNBA needs. And by all indications that the people that are working with the organization and for the organization have given is they want to build their own brand identity away from the Cleveland Rockers while still honoring the past franchise that was in Cleveland, the WNBA franchise, and also, still recognizing Big Brother in the Cleveland Cavaliers and every other Cleveland sports organization that they're joining. Now, my forte, my forte is logos. I used to work in apparel. I've seen a lot of terrible logos in my lifetime. I've seen some god awful ones. I've seen some that I'm just like, that doesn't look right. I will say, the top left is going to be on a lot of like the first year merch. You can see all the colors, different gradients of blue, obviously the white. I think the one on the bottom left is going to be the main one that's on the jersey, is going to be front and center on a lot of the team stuff, more specifically, not so much the consumer stuff. Um, do I like this logo? I am a simplicity kind of guy. I like simplistic stuff. I do like the colors on this main logo on the top left. This does give me like baseball logo vibes. It gives me like baseball kind of. I'm like, I don't know about it. This bottom left one though, I really like it. I really like, I guess you would call it like a nautical theme, like a seaworthy theme, I guess. I really love it. It's not too overdone. You can see like the mermaid tail at the end of the S. You can see the mermaid at the bottom carrying a basketball, and it's all very flowy. It's all very nice. It's in movement as well. It's gonna look great. I really do love the white. I do like their other logo though, which I think will probably be on some of the apparel, maybe on the side of like the shorts or something, on the right side of your screen, the bottom right, where you see hear the call. This mermaid going swimming up with the basketball. It looks great. It looks fantastic. I like that specifically as well. They also have some other logos here that aren't in front of you, but they have been teasing a couple more here and there, just like as their brand identity, as they like to call it. They have I guess what would be called, I guess that is right. They have like a mermaid claw holding a basketball. I think that one's really cool. They have this logo on the right, but with C and S on the top left and the bottom right. I love that. That looks very nautical. That looks really cool. They even have the Cleveland word marking with a fishtail um, at the end. If you're drawing a C at the end of the C, that looks great. They just have an S that's an S with a fishtail at the end, and they just have some like basic Cleveland Sirens and basic text as some other logos they can work with and put on some apparel in the future. I will say, and this is going to be a very short video to begin with, but I have no complaints about any of this. I think this is one of the best new sort of logos and brand identity that you can have, I really don't have any complaints about this. I think they've done a great job with the different shades of blue, sort of calling back to, not calling back, but indicating, the Lake Erie area. I love this. This is a 10 out of 10. And when we did the Portland Fire last year around this time, I had some like concern about the logo. It turned out fine though. The one I was really concerned about though was the Toronto Tempo, and it ended up being kind of it's not the greatest first year for them, um, jersey wise, apparel wise. I think Portland has done it a lot better, and I think Cleveland is sort of more leaning towards that Portland success of the brand just looking really cool and being able the where they're gonna play the I think it's called the Rocket Mortgage Center where the Cleveland Cavaliers play. They already call it the Rock. So the Sirens at the Rock. Sirens usually lay on rocks and stuff. That's a cool sort of uh, clash of what's the one clash of like um, the Rock, not the Rockets, the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Sirens. It works out. Both sort of like, I don't want to say mystical because Cavaliers are real. They were a real thing, but like things of like old, that you think of like in like textbooks and stuff. Obviously the Sirens are mystical. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I'm just rambling. I'm sorry, guys. As with a lot of these brands and stuff, they try to do like they release like these long like haikus, like poems about like the city and what the team is gonna mean to the city. I'm not from Cleveland, and quite frankly, I've said this about every team. I don't really care. I just care if the logo is cool. I just care if like the the motivation for making the team this good. That's what I care about. Um, I will say, looking on the Cleveland Sirens basketball Instagram, why did I say it like that? Basketball Instagram. Um, it's a lot of blue. And when I was scrolling here on their page, funny enough, they do have a lot of indications of what maybe the jerseys will look like. They do have some eerie blue, some mint foam, and some black. That could be an indication of the jersey color. They also have the siren blue, the blue that's in front of you guys. Um, that could be an indication of the jerseys. The Liberty really have the seafoam locked up right now. I don't know how much they're going to use the seafoam, but if we're doing like blacks and blues and like light blues, I love that. The Cleveland Rockers, I saw their jersey the other day as I was preparing for this video. Those were like silver, black, blue, and like orange. I don't think there's going to be any orange in these new jerseys. I think they're going to stick to the blues, the blacks, maybe a little bit of seafoam, as not to conflict with the New York Liberty. But yeah, as we look at some more stuff here, this is by, what's this guy's name? Jacob Feldman on X. He put together this color chart of all the teams that are using different colors, and uh, it's safe to say that the blue side of the of the chart is very crowded. It includes a bunch of teams. It includes the Sky, the Siren, the Wings, the Fever, the Mystics. A bunch of teams use blue. I hope there is some variation with the jerseys. I hope they. I don't want to say I hope there's not a white jersey, but I hope they don't use a white jersey as like a cop out. Because I feel like either you just go full color and then maybe do like a light blue instead of like a standard white jersey, or you're just gonna be stuck with what everybody else has, which is like the standard like white home jersey. I'm using quotes: white home jersey, dark color away jersey, and then like the alternate jersey. I hope they try to do something a little bit more interesting than just what every other team has. And they might not be able to do that their first year. I think every team struggles to put together jerseys their first year because they don't really know what they look like when they get them. They get them. I'm sure there's months and months of planning of figuring out the jerseys and everything and how stuff is going to look, but you don't really know how it looks till it's on court in the arena with fans wearing the shirts and everything and like the whole shebang, the lights, the smoke, the fire coming out. It's a whole thing now in the WNBA. It's big business, so we don't know officially what it's going to look like, but we do know that some comments made by, I forget who it was, but um, I believe it's Grant Gilbert, Dan Gilbert's son, Dan Gilbert owns the Cleveland Cavaliers, and Grant Gilbert um, is in partnership, obviously, with his father, and they own the Sirens or some part of the Sirens now. And somebody that works with the organization, a lady said they don't want to be, and I'm paraphrasing here, they don't want to be the Lady Cavaliers. They want their own identity. They want their own thing. And she made some very valid points about, the type of people that are going to come to Sirens games. They like this stuff. They don't like this stuff. They do all these different things. And it was a really, I didn't necessarily like the beginning of what she was talking about, but by the end, she made some really great points about, this is going to be its own thing. We don't want to rely too much on the Cavaliers. We don't rely too much on um, all this other stuff. The facilities that NBA Big Brother can provide are fantastic, but they don't necessarily want to lean too much on them. They want to be able to stand on their own 2 feet and be able to do their own thing. As I look through their Instagram page once more, I'm looking at all the different logos, the global logo, the secondary logo. They have a bunch of really interesting stuff here, as they do when they do these logos now. Nike does, I will give credit, Nike does a good job like sneaking in like these little Easter eggs and stuff um, within their logos and everything. I'm looking at this right here, and this is interesting. They have an S, right? It's just the S, or yeah, it's just the S, and it spells out Cleve, CLE, for the abbreviation of Cleveland. Obviously, like we talked about, they've snuck in the siren tail, the fish tail right there, and they snuck in a trident as well in the S right there. Yeah, I didn't even notice that. That's very cool. I will leave this down below. I'll leave their Instagram page down below if you want to check this out. It's a lot of just little small Easter eggs that are like homage and paying tribute to the sirens and the mysticism of sirens. Um, I find this stuff very cool, but I'm not going to try to describe it to you guys because that would be doing it a disservice. Like I said, I really love these logos that they've pulled out. Uh, I think it's one of the better. It's instantly going to be one of the better logos in the WNBA. I feel like the WNBA, as much as the NBA, has gone into such like a just like a bland sort of like, okay, we're gonna be a circle logo, we're gonna be this logo. Even my team, the Aces, have done away with like the red and the gold and their regular just global logos. It's all silver and black, and like I like simplicity, but that's just like we used to have so many cool like colors. It used to be gold, it used to be red, and now it's just black and silver. It's like ugh. I feel like a lot of teams could do with some modernization of their logos, but I think this is as modern as you get, with obviously the top left logo being their primary logo and having the opportunity to showcase that as well as like your primary full color blasted logo, with the rest of them being sort of more simplistic. And then if you want to, you can throw in colors on those logos, of course, as well. Um, as we wrap up here, I do want to, as I always do, when teams do a rebrand or new teams come into a league, um, I like to look at their. Let me see here. I like to look at their. I like to look at their shop, see what their shop has in store. Um, Here in a second. So let me pull that up. I'm just scrolling through this stuff, making sure I haven't missed anything right now. Yeah, I don't think I've missed anything at this moment. So give me 1 second. I'll pull that up and we'll get out of here in a minute. So just as a note, I pulled up their website because I'm looking for their shop, Their most like elevated experience, premium hospitality, private club access, and elevated food and beverage. It's only $100 with other uh, payments, you know, factored into that afterwards. But right now, it's only $100. So if you live in Cleveland and you want to go see some women's basketball, and you got $100 laying around, that's really cool. That's only $100 and then 28 for their other membership. Um, that's really cool. I didn't expect it to be that low. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not saying like they don't deserve to be higher, but like that low, that's a steal. That's a steal of a deal right there. All right, now we're at the shop. How do I want to? Let's go to just new arrivals. Let's go new arrivals here. Of course, you gotta have the quarter zip. Everybody loves a quarter zip, don't they? Yeah, that's just with the regular primary logo, the colorful one. Ooh, that looks really good on a hat. Yeah, I like that. You know what this also reminds me of? This logo reminds me of like an ice cream shop, like down at the shore or something, down at the beach. That's what it reminds me of as well, which is kind of funny. Um, for most of their store, they have black, blue, royal blue. Let's see here. Ooh, they have like a mesh back hat, like a trucker hat with just the sirens on the front. That looks very nice. Um, see what else they have here. Ooh, they love that. That sold out immediately. Wow. Ooh, they have a nice little polo here with the sirens on. Is that a? Yeah, it's a polo. It's a Nike like tech polo. Ooh, they got a full like crew neck here with like sirens on the top, the year of establishment, their logo here on the right, and then Cleveland at the bottom. That's really nice. That's a really nice piece of apparel right there. They have another one that's just Cleveland Sirens. Reverse Cleveland on the top, Sirens on the bottom. Yeah, this is an okay shop. This is okay. Am I at? Is this the third page already? Huh. That's it. They only have 3 pages of apparel. Interesting. Interesting. Let's look at accessories. Why not? See what they got. Earrings. They got a pin. I've never seen. Maybe I'm not paying attention. I'm not sure any other team has earrings. It's very interesting. I like that. Let's see. Anything else? Anything else? Sale maybe? Nope. That's just like regular stuff. Okay, that's it. I think. Again, I love this logo. I think I've said that about 5 times in this video, but it's so nice. It's so like different too. The colors obviously aren't different like we talked about, you know. Um there's a lot of blue teams and I really do hope they do something unique and they do like a full color like jersey with some hints of some other colors obviously. I'm going to be kind of upset if it's just like a white jersey with this word marking, the top left one. I'm going to be really mad about that. I'd like it to be like really different, but again, all these teams try to be a little bit too simplistic now, and I know for a fact I think the Portland Fire are the only outlier to this really. First year teams don't really get good like main like home and away jerseys. They kind of get the short end of the stick. Um, I'm not holding my breath that the jersey they're gonna have is gonna be great for this first year. The second year usually takes a step, and it looks even better. But I hope the bones are still there for a really good jersey for these ladies, and they're coming in 2028. Um, there's some stuff floating around about who could you picture like who's in college right now is gonna be in the draft in 2028. Who could you picture in a Sirens like jersey and like all these colors? And there's some funny ones out there, but um, maybe we'll talk about that on a different day. But yeah, this team is coming in 2028, so we gotta wait a little longer here, but I'm loving the build up already. This is really good stuff. So yeah, that's it. That's the video showing for you guys. I know my last video about the Olympics was pretty long, so I want to make this one a little shorter. Let you guys get a little something. I don't know if there'll be another video this week. Might take a couple days off. Who knows? We are in the doldrums of the season, um, and we do have FIBA World Cup stuff coming up at the end of this month, so we'll see what that's all about. At the end, at the end of this month, yeah, less than a month away. So maybe we'll talk about that in the future. But yeah, that's it. Enough of me rambling. Check out the video on the left. The end screen should be playing right now. Check out the playlist on the right. If you click my little icon, bottom middle of the screen, a little subscribe will pop up, and you can subscribe with ease. Like and comment as well, and I will see you guys next time. Cheers.